Skoda Octavia 110 TSI Ambition, base model in Australia. Kicks off at about 25,000 with no options. I've done 873.6 kilometers so far. Really impressed with the car. Didn't really know what to expect coming in. Hadn't owned a petrol car before. Had a Peugeot 407 2-litre diesel prior to this car, which I really liked. Unfortunately, had to get rid of that. It was getting a little bit too expensive to keep on the road. First off, I'd like to talk about the engine. 1.4 4-cylinder turbo with 110 kilowatts, 250 newton meters from 1500 to 3000 RPM, which is really impressive. That 1500 RPM max torque, you can really feel that. It feels more like a diesel engine down that low. You can drive it like a diesel engine, and as a result you get similar fuel consumption that you'd expect in a diesel car, which is really impressive. Given that this car is not small, probably be classed as a medium-sized car. I think it's 1300 kilos. For it to be getting, I think I've got 5.3 litres per 100 over, I think over 600 k's of combined fuel cycle is remarkable. The technology in small petrol engines these days is really impressive. The argument for diesels in small cars is getting weaker and weaker by the day, I think. Granted, they still do get really good fuel economy, but so do petrols now, and petrols don't emit the same level of nasty gunk that diesels do. So definitely, if you haven't already, consider a small petrol if you're in the market for a new car. Obviously I can only speak for VW/Skoda's engines at this stage, but I assume it's just pretty similar across the board. Yeah, so all in all, very happy with this engine. Not sure what the 1.6 diesel would feel like. We don't get that in Australia, but this 1.4 is a gem, really is. Can't really see why you'd want to go for a diesel if these are getting such good fuel economy, and they're much more flexible. They've got that low down diesel torque, but also that top end petrol punch. Which brings me on to its gearbox, which is really good to use actually. It's really quite precise, and yeah, changing gears is a joy. The reason why you get a manual gearbox, isn't it? Run it through its gears just for fun. This is the base model in Australia. The standard kit is really impressive, so you don't really need to spec anything really. Notably, it comes with adaptive cruise control as standard. Basically all Skodas I think come with adaptive cruise control as standard now in Australia. But yeah, that's really impressive that these sub $30,000 cars are getting adaptive cruise control, which is it's really great really, because hopefully it's gonna make our roads safer. So that's really good. Buying the car, I didn't really think much about it because I didn't have it in my previous car. Obviously I've driven cars with it before, but I always liked having that control. Liked being able to control the car's speed by myself. Feel like I was always in control the whole time. But yeah, it really is great for long distances or just motorways, really. Stop and start traffic doesn't like it. I think in this car, because maybe it's got a manual gearbox, maybe they haven't really set it up for that. It's not really set up for stop start sort of traffic. But yeah, motorways is where I really just use it all the time, and it's fantastic for it as well. Skoda also comes standard with a 6.5-inch touchscreen, which is fantastic. It's as responsive as any smartphone I've used. Really easy to use. All the menus are where you'd expect them to be. And also, it means you can use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is phenomenal. It really is. Like, using it for music and maps, Google Maps, really has shown me, like, why would you pay extra for satellite navigation, which you can on Skodas. Like, why would you? Because it works so well. It looks like a sat nav in your car, but you haven't paid an extra $5,000 for it, so who's going to say no to that? The ride comfort, as you might be able to tell from these nice bridge bumps, is quite firm. Not as firm as the RS, but still definitely on the firm side. It's still comfortable. Can be a bit jarring and a bit sort of crashy and clunky, but as a result, it does corner really well, really flat. Practicality in this car is really surprising, actually. For a medium-sized car, the back seat is really spacious. I can sit behind myself, and I'm 6'2", like really comfortably. You got heaps of knee room, heaps of headroom. Could easily do a road trip with this with 4 people, and everyone would be comfortable. And the boot would also comply with that road trip. Huge boot. You could easily put 4 people's stuff in there. It's also got simply clever Skoda features in throughout the car, but also mainly in the boot. It's got shopping clips, so you just put your shopping bag, hook it onto the clip, and it'll hold it there, so you don't have to worry about your milk flying across the back as you go around corners, which is really clever. I'm surprised other car manufacturers haven't done a similar thing, because it really is handy. Got two clips back there, one on each side, and it also, which is also another simply clever feature, you can when you don't want the parcel shelf, you can just slide it back, and it's parallel with the backs of the back seat, so you've always got somewhere to put the parcel shelf. Whereas on other cars, you take the parcel shelf out and you've got nowhere to put it. You just chuck it in your garage somewhere and it takes up room there. Whereas on this, you just chuck it in the back and forget about it. And it doesn't even take up that much room. It's only about that thick or so. Practicality. What else? What else can I talk about this car? The refinement is similar to Audis in general, but I've only really driven and had extended periods of time with an Audi A4 TDI-E, V8 TDI-E, and it reminds me a lot of that car, especially, I don't know, just all the switch gear and how noisy it is in here and stuff like that. It really is impressive for a base sub 30 car. Really highlights the social flaw that we have in today's society, that of buying expensive branded cars for no reason. Like I've had my fair share in an Audi A4, which was a 50 grand car, whereas this is half of that. You can buy 2 of these for that price, and you can't really feel a difference between the two. But people notice Audis or Mercedes or BMWs, whereas people don't really notice a Skoda or a Golf. They just think, yeah, what, you know, that's not very interesting. But, you know, what's the point in spending another 50% for people to be like, oh yeah, nice car? I mean, maybe that floats your boat, but that shouldn't be the reason people choose to buy more expensive cars. But anyway, you know, that's my little shot, my little dig at society. All in all, really impressed with this car. It's lived up to my expectations and also gone further. It's mostly comes down to its engine and the size of the thing. I mean, I could fit a horse in the back of the boot, it's so big. So super impressive car, and one that I'm anticipating to hold on for quite a while, so I'll be able to give you updates on reliability. From what I've heard, Skoda is one of the most reliable car brands, so I'll be able to test that out over the coming years. I'll see how it holds up under the harsh Australian conditions. Oh my, yeah, too bloody right. You can watch me do a parallel park, see if I pull it off on camera before I take out that car. Whee. The parking sensors and camera really make parallel parking a breeze. Ta-da! Anyway, that's it for this video. Like and subscribe to keep up with some more average videos.